Alright, hello everyone, welcome to another Sketchbook Tour interview. Today I have with me Sathyapriya, who is my friend from the Urban Sketches Singapore group. I'm interviewing her because she uses gouache instead of watercolor, unlike other sketches. So today we are going to take a look at her sketchbook and see some of her art and also talk about the tools that she uses. So she has brought a few sketchbooks to share with us today. We have 2 sketchbooks and a folio, and those are her art supplies and tools. So let's take a look at this black sketchbook first. So can you tell me what is this sketchbook?
Okay, this is a Hanemu sketchbook.
Oh, it's the
Yeah.
same one that I also have. It's actually quite good. So you
Yeah.
use this for...
This is good for gouache.
Gouache.
I have 3 or 4 more sketchbooks like this.
Oh, okay. This is A5 size.
A5 size.
Oh.
Yeah.
A lot of urban sketches, they use watercolor. So why do you prefer to use gouache instead of watercolor?
Okay. When I begin to sketch, I started as a toner sketcher. That means I don't sketch with lines. I like to sketch with shapes, and so I started with charcoal. I find charcoal easier to sketch with tones, so I started sketching with charcoal first. Then I thought, because I was doing oil paint in my studio, I thought I wanted something to mimic some of the oil painting characters, because oil paint is, I know it's very difficult and challenging for me to take it outside, cleaning everything and carrying over the finished sketch. Everything is going to be a challenging one. So I researched for a medium where I can use both the transparent and the opaque qualities like oil. So I found from James Gurney's website that Kaizen and gouache, they both are easier to carry outside, and I tried gouache because Kaizen, I think he said it has something like a smell of milk or something because of the binder. So I tried gouache first, then I started to like the medium.
It's also very easy to use outdoors, right?
Yeah,
Just
easy
like
to
watercolor.
easy to use, and it's a water-based medium, so easy to clean. Dries very fast, so you can carry the finished sketches just in a sketchbook.
So gouache is just like watercolor, except it's opaque. Is that right?
Yes,
Oh,
except
okay.
it's opaque. But sometimes I try to use the transparency of. I try to make use of the transparency of gouache also.
Okay.
Not only the opaque properties. I like to mix both to make the sketch look more interesting. For example, here I have used the transparency for the background, and then some opaque paint in the front also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So earlier on you said you were doing tonal studies. That's like painting, is it? Is
Yeah.
that like very much like painting?
Yeah, painting.
Oh, okay. So maybe let's talk about some of your artwork. So when did you start this sketchbook?
This one started from 2018.
2018. Oh, okay.
I started sketching in gouache in 2015 May, I think so.
Oh, that's 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it took some time for me to get hold of get used to the medium and get hold of the properties, techniques and all those things.
Okay. So where is this place?
This one is near my house in Sengkang.
Oh.
We have a waterway.
Oh, this is
much
a park.
greenery. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I sat under a bridge and I sketched the greenery. I love to sketch the greens more.
So when you paint something like this, what do you think of first? Like, do you think of the composition, backgrounds, the colors that you use?
Actually, till now I use only 3 primaries, because I know I have to control my range of colors to get a harmony in my sketches and painting. So I use only 3 primaries, a variety of primaries, warm and cool primaries. I mix each. So since I sketch more greenery, I know I have to use more greens. So depending upon the effect I want to capture, I select my colors first then think of the composition. Then,
Oh.
then I start my sketching.
Do you use pencil?
No,
No, just go straight with painting itself.
straight with I start with a wash, a warm wash of,
light wash or color.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Most probably it's warm because I want to complement the color with the greens. Since I use more greens, I don't want my sketch to look more.
So green is supposed to be
green is-
cooler than you
Yeah.
then you use warm colors to balance it off. What is this? I noticed there's this black line. Why do you do the black line?
This is from Nathan Fox.
Oh.
He used to, after doing the sketch, he used to frame it with just a pencil border, much thicker than this one.
Oh.
Yeah, just to frame your
Just to
sketch.
frame the
yeah,
sketch.
that's it.
Oh, okay. How about this sketch?
This one is a Buddhist temple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and again near my in my area, opposite to my daughter's school,
Oh, okay.
preschool. So I dropped her. I sat opposite, and then I sketched.
Okay. This is.
Yeah, this is again the jogging track near the waterway. I wanted to capture the light and also the trees along the waterway and where it goes into the darker bridge. There's a
okay.
bridge under the bridge.
I
So-
read somewhere that because of the opacity of some paints, you can actually do corrections very easily. Is that true?
Yeah, gouache is a very forgiving medium. You can go over and you can correct. But as like other mediums, if you keep correcting, you lose the freshness of your sketch.
Oh, okay.
So you plan before you start. So where to put the lights and the darks.
So when the paint is dry and you have a mistake there, you can actually just paint over.
Paint over, and if you want to lift an area which you have done mistakenly, you can do that also.
Oh, okay.
So this is actually, you can rewet this anytime. So the only thing is you have to handle and store it carefully. That's it.
Oh,
So
okay.
even if I spray water over the sketch now, then it becomes rewet activated.
Oh, okay. If you use a lot of paint, it will be reactivated.
Yeah.
I thought gouache is permanent, quite permanent also.
No.
Ah,
When
it's
no, not permanent like acrylic.
Oh.
Acrylic stays permanent once it dries.
Oh.
This is not. You can activate anytime.
Oh, I think watercolor is pretty permanent as well.
Yeah. Because it seeps into the layers. Because
Paper.
the pigments are very thin, minute, so they can seep inside. The pigments are a bit more coarse than watercolor.
Bigger.
So
Oh.
they sit on the surface.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I noticed the colors of gouache, they appear to be more pastel-like. Is that, I'm not sure if that's the correct word to describe the colors. It's more, it's slightly more muted compared to watercolor, which can be extremely vibrant.
Yeah. Actually, my initial sketches with gouache, they are all pale because I didn't know they are bright like watercolors when you use directly from the tube. But when you mix with a little bit of white, what happens, since they are opaque, it becomes very dull.
Oh, okay.
So you have to be very careful by how much white you have to add into the pigments.
Oh, why do you add white to the color?
The pigments directly out of the tube, they are very harsh.
Very vibrant.
Yeah, very.
Oh, okay.
So always I tend to mix to get the kind of nice tones.
Oh, with watercolor we add more water to make the colors lighter. So with
Yes.
gouache you add more white.
White.
Oh, so I guess you would use up white a lot, right?
Yep.
Are all these sketches drawn and painted in Singapore?
This one is done in India. The previous one's
Oh.
from Singapore. This one in India.
Oh, okay.
My backyard.
Okay.
Backyard. This one also from India.
Is it very difficult to paint details, like small details? I mean, for watercolor sketches, you can actually draw details with the pen and ink and then color. But for
Same
gouache,
as watercolor.
oh,
Same,
so
easier.
for
Yeah.
details like this, it's
But I don't
is it
use a
easier?
round brush or a small brush. I always use the flat brush.
Oh,
So
you mean all these are?
I do
were
all the
painted?
details with almost one single brush.
Oh, you mean all these?
Yep.
All these lines are all flat brushes.
Yeah.
How about the trees in the background?
Everything. I don't
Oh.
use round brush at all.
Oh, that's interesting. Why don't you use round brushes?
I started with flat brush and I liked how the brush strokes and they're easy to capture. The shapes are easier to capture with a flat brush. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, for me. So I stuck with the thing. I don't want to change. Yeah, when you change the tool, it changes the style also.
Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed that these were all painted with flat brushes.
Yeah. Some of them only with one big flat brush.
Okay. So for this sketchbook, I noticed you only paint on one page rather than two pages. So is there a reason why? Just to keep the sketch clean?
Clean, and I think for gouache it's not advisable to paint two sides because, as I already said, it can be rewetted and reactivated anytime. So it's better advisable to keep it on one side.
Oh, okay. This is a vertical sketch. How about this?
This is a sketch of Kampong Buangkok.
Oh,
It's
okay.
nearby my
this
home.
was drawn
20 minutes
recently,
walking.
a few months ago.
Yeah.
I went there a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing I can remember from this place is there are a lot of mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah, so were there a lot of mosquitoes while you were there?
No,
Huh? No. What time were you there?
probably in mornings mostly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 9 to 12.
Yeah, I think mosquitoes they come out during the evening time. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
very.
why. So this is also Kampong
Kampong, yeah.
Bangkok. Oh, okay. So what do you use to write your name and the date?
The liner brush.
Oh, okay. I know with watercolor, when you write over the watercolor paint with ink, the ink will sort of spread out and become much thicker. Yeah. This
This is a sketch of Punggol Park.
Punggol Park.
Punggol Park.
Oh, okay. I like the. I'm not sure what these are called. Cat tails or cat tongue.
I still remember when I was doing this sketch, it was like I thought it was a failure until the end. I think the just last 5 minutes because it was going to rain. I should do it faster. Then I just anyhow did all these brush strokes. But later when I see the sketch, I think it has some of the energy, and I started liking the sketch.
Yeah, it worked quite well. I think it works very well.
But until the end, I thought it's a failure.
Sometimes when we sketch very slowly,
it
the work
becomes too detailed.
the work for some reason doesn't look as good
Yeah.
compared to those that were drawn very quickly.
So now I'm limiting my sketching time, starting to limiting my sketching time.
Sketch faster so that you can have
not
a
to get more
more
detail,
dynamic, more energetic look.
to get the feel of on location, to get the energy of the location.
So how do you simplify details like this? What do you think of when it comes to simplifying details?
Yeah, the thing which I learned from other artists is like you have to have a tonal structure for your sketch or your painting for them to like a skeleton to hold on. So usually I look for the darker patches of tones to connect the painting or something. So yeah, simplification is very difficult to do, but only the simplified sketch reads more rather than a detailed sketch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because
it takes a lot of practice
is
to
it?
simplify.
Because the shapes are clearer
Yeah.
to see. Okay.
This is also a
interesting.
kampong.
Oh, okay.
Kampong sketch. I did a wash. I usually do a wash, the orange or reddish wash before I
so
start. So you
for-
can see you can see the specks of the orange showing up through the foliage.
The first wash was orange.
Orange.
Oh, okay. And then you paint over the orange with other colors. So that's
That
why.
will be a transparent wash. So I'll start adding more opaque layers over that.
Oh, okay. No
So
wonder.
this is scratching similar to watercolor.
Oh.
Scratching with a palette knife, plastic knife.
Oh.
So I can see the underlayer when I do this.
So because the
Yeah.
orange is beneath, you can scratch away the
Yeah.
colors on top to see the colors beneath. Oh, okay. This is interesting.
This is the MDIS building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, near Dhoby Ghaut.
Oh, okay. So for this one, I don't see a border.
This one is a second sketch I did on the day, so
Oh,
I
okay.
just made it faster.
Oh,
Just
okay.
wanted to capture the trees behind the building, so I wanted to do the negative painting
Oh,
over
the
the branches.
shapes.
So this
The
is
shapes.
transparent, this is opaque. So I find the contrasting transparency and opacity of the paint much more interesting,
Oh, okay.
visually interesting.
So when do you join Urban Sketches Singapore?
I joined in August 2013.
Oh, 2013.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
First one was in
6
Bukit
years ago.
Timah railway station.
Bukit Timah where?
Bukit Timah railway station.
Oh, railway station.
Yeah.
I don't think I went there. So do you use other materials beside gouache?
I used to paint in oils, not now. After starting gouache, I didn't go back to any other medium.
Gouache is more convenient.
Convenient,
It's
yeah.
quicker to dry and easier to store. as
Yeah.
well. So is it possible to use oil in a sketchbook?
I think it is possible you can sketch, but again, difficult to carry.
Then you have to
Like-
wait for the oil to dry,
Yes.
dry completely.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you cannot
I
close
know
the
artists
sketchbook.
who are doing studies on paper, oil studies on paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
But-
10 minute studies, something like that on paper.
probably not
But
in a
only at
sketchbook.
studio, yeah.
This is Tanjong Pagar,
Yeah, recent
Maxwell.
sketchwork, Chinatown sketchwork.
Okay. This was also painted with an underpainting, right? Red color
Yeah,
background.
pinkish red. You
oh,
can see
okay.
from the thing.
Oh,
And you can
okay.
see in the sky also, it shows up.
Yeah. It's a double page spread.
Yeah.
This is also
Bishan Park.
Bishan Park. Oh, okay.
Sketch.
It's very nice. So this was also painted with an underpainting.
Yeah.
With
Everything
red
I
beneath.
start with underpainting. You
Oh,
can see
okay, yeah.
the orange color.
So it's very interesting to see the
Otherwise, it looks too
reds.
monotonous.
Yeah, the reds that show through.
I think I painted the water first. Then I painted opaquely the rocks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just
then-
some small shapes, that's it.
And then the highlights for the water
Yeah.
added later on.
Yeah.
So this is the end of the sketchbook. How long does it take for you to fill up a sketchbook like this? Or how often do you
My-
sketch?
Initially when I am sketching, it takes like around more than 1 year to fill a
Oh.
sketchbook.
Oh.
Yeah, because I want to experiment on with other sketchbooks, other papers and everything. So it takes a lot more time. But now I think a little faster.
So this is the other sketchbook. This one is spiral bound. What is this?
Canson sketchbook.
Aquarelle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just 300 GSM.
300
normal
GSM.
paper.
Talking about paper, is there a difference between cotton paper and non-cotton paper when it comes to using gouache?
Yeah, there is a difference.
the
The
difference?
100% cotton paper, especially, it absorbs the paint more. So you have to apply more thick layers or something like that.
Oh.
So I tried. I have done many paintings on the 100% cotton paper. Also, I liked it. But later I thought like this type of paper suits more for my technique, my style. Because when you do the scratching, which I told you before, you cannot do with a 100% cotton paper because everything gets absorbed. For this paper, it remains, the paint remains on the paper fairly. So when you scratch, you can see the underlay also.
Oh, okay. So if you want to do like scratching techniques, or if you want to remove paint, it's good to use paper that
Yes.
does not absorb the paint too
Yes.
much. Oh, okay. So how many colors do you usually have in your palette? I know you only use like a limited palette to paint, but how
I
many
have
colors?
white, 3 primaries, and now I have added 2 earth colors, burnt sienna and raw umber,
Oh.
to get more darks.
Oh, this blue. What is this blue? Do you still remember?
This one is, I think, mixed ultramarine and cadmium yellow.
Oh.
Ah.
And this blue, is it the same blue?
No, I think this one,
It looks like phthalo blue.
yeah,
Oh,
something like that.
is very strong. I like the contrast. It's very vibrant. This one is more vibrant compared to
This
the
one
other
is
sketchbook.
done during the day, and this one during the sunset.
Oh, okay. And I like the color of the sand. It's very real. Looks very
Yeah,
real.
this is done in Boracay.
Oh,
So
Boracay
the
is
color
in
is really,
Philippines.
very, very nice and very similar to the color here. I wanted to capture the color of the ocean. Yeah, very nice.
Were you there for a holiday?
Yeah,
I heard the water there is like blue color
yeah, very blue.
and transparent. So this is
This is
Chinatown.
near the beach road. No,
Beach
the
road.
beach road.
Oh, Beach Road, yeah. Ambulance, what's this?
I think this is the
St.
dementia center.
Oh,
I think these buildings got to go. I don't know if they are there now.
oh,
We went there like 2018.
oh, okay. So is it more challenging to paint on a larger sheet of paper compared to a smaller?
Sure.
Is it?
Especially for gouache, I find it's not easy to do A4. My maximum biggest size is A4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why is it more difficult?
I think because I am painting or sketching with tones, I need to fill up the shapes.
Oh.
It's not like the lines, then you fill up with the colors. It's like you have to paint each and every part of the space and you have to fill in the space.
Oh.
So it's a bit challenging. So every time you have to mix the paint, then apply. So it takes longer for me, even for an A4 sketch.
Oh. You also have to use a lot more paint. Yeah. Oh. So all these highlights are just
Yeah,
white.
done. I think white with a little bit of cadmium yellow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, done over the sky holes. Done over the transparent background.
Oh, okay. I think with watercolor we don't usually use cadmium color.
Start from the lighter to darker. In gouache, you don't need to think.
At least for me, I don't really use the cadmium colors because it's opaque, so it's difficult to mix. But the opaque colors for watercolor is really just to add highlights to cover over other colors. This is this what's the
This is,
painting color?
Yeah, this one I
Yellow?
wanted to capture the evening sun. So I thought the glare around the trees, I think I could capture with fine technique. So I started with a wash of cadmium yellow and yellow ochre.
Oh,
Yeah, then I laid on the shapes. Then I did the negative painting in the sky, leaving some of the yellow to show through. So I think had little success in capturing the light.
I like how you capture the shadow. Yeah. Where's this place? This
This is a botanical garden.
Oh, okay.
I think this is a study from a photo,
Oh.
not done on location.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there a difference
more
when it comes to painting on location versus drawing from reference
Yeah,
photo?
definitely. Painting on location needs more power,
Huh? More what?
more power and more of your will. Yeah, because you'll be running out of time. People will be looking over your shoulders and the scene will be overwhelming. There'll be a lot of details in the scene, so you have to filter them and you have to do a sketch. But at home, you'll be used to, suppose if you're sketching a location like the botanical garden, I'll be like looking at the picture once or twice before I start the picture, and I would have time to analyze the place or what technique can I use, something like that. In painting on location, you don't have those luxuries. You have to give in the specified amount of time. I think it's challenging and it's more adds value, and you can learn a lot from painting on location. Yeah.
Sometimes when you work with limited time, you actually create your best work.
Yes.
You know of any other sketchers who use gouache? I think you're the only one that I know who uses gouache.
Yeah, here I don't know anybody.
So what brand do you use?
I use M. Graham.
Oh, okay, M. Graham.
Yeah.
M. Graham is not sold in Singapore, right?
No, I
how you
order it through Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do ship from Amazon, and the price is actually quite good.
Yeah, I find the binder they use is very good, so I can get more brilliant colors even with just a little amount of paint.
Oh.
You don't need to go for too much paint to get the brilliance.
So you can use one tube of color
Yeah.
for a very long time.
Yeah. I think other brands, if you mix just with a little bit of white, they lose their brilliance and they become cool suddenly. It's not the case with M. Graham.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is there a difference between painting on cold press versus hot press paper when it comes to using gouache?
Again, the texture.
Oh.
Yeah, the texture is good with the cold press. Hot press, I tried a few hot press papers.
Doesn't look.
Yeah, it's okay, but I don't feel interesting when I sketch on hot press.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I actually like hot press as well, although most of my sketches are on cold press paper.
This sketch, I used a layer of gesso. I wanted to experiment how it feels when you paint on a gesso surface. So I gesso the paper like 2 or 3 layers. Then I tried gouache. Actually, some techniques are good, but I feel the paint still floats on the surface. So I didn't pursue the technique.
Oh, wait a
For some
minute.
sketches, I like this.
What is gesso?
Gesso is like a primer. It's a white primer which they use over the canvas for oil paintings to minimize the absorption of the paint onto the canvas and also to get more layers. If you brush your gesso over the canvas with a very roughly with 2 or 3 layers, then you can get a good ground and you can get good texture for your oil painting. This is also done.
Is
Singapore Art Museum.
Singapore Art Museum.
This is also gesso. You can see
okay.
here.
Actually, I cannot tell. I mean, I can't tell
Yeah.
because I don't use this medium. Yeah, this museum is now under construction. It's been under renovation for a very long time. Oh, what's this? This is
Pongol.
Pongol?
Pongol.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay.
Near the waterway point.
Oh, okay. Why are there like?
Yeah, because I
Gray strokes
use
outside.
gesso, the paint seeped outside.
Oh.
Even if I had a tape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I notice you do a lot of landscape sketching, trees, foliage.
Yeah.
Not as much.
I like to paint
okay.
trees.
Not as much
greenery.
like architecture.
Yeah.
Stuff. Oh, this is interesting.
This is a study.
The
So
tonal study.
one of my clients, she wanted to have a painting of the Pongol Park with the church.
Oh,
And there's a school here which she studied, so she wanted to add those things, the church and the school with the Pongol Park, reflection of church here. She had a sentimental attachment to the place, so I went there a couple of times and did some studies for perspective, composition and all those things.
So which one did she pick in the end?
She picked the one which I did on location. Because she said that's nice and it captured the feel more. She wanted that one.
So do you like to sketch in sketchbooks or do you paint in loose sheets?
Sketchbooks, yeah. Unless I am experimenting with the papers, so then I'll take separate papers. Otherwise, sketchbooks suits me.
Oh, okay. I noticed there's this texture. What's this?
Yeah, that's the gesso.
Oh, that's
Again,
the gesso.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
These are studies for the same painting.
Pongol.
Yeah, Pongol Park sketch.
So this is a good idea for storing all your loose sheets. I think I'm going to use this idea as well to use the clear folders. Yeah. This is such a convenient way to refer to your old sketches.
Yes.
Now, this was drawn during the USK 10 by 10.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what are some of the interesting stories, interesting experience that you have when sketching outdoors?
I feel when sketching outdoors, we tend to remember more about the place rather than sketching from a picture. So what happened on the day, how many people, like how they approached you, what questions they asked you, and even sometimes when you look at your sketch, you tend to remember what you were thinking when you are sketching that, what music you are listening to. It's very strange, but yes, we do remember the place much better when we sketch on location.
You can remember the things that are outside of the sketch and also inside the sketch. Are there any interesting things that happen? Can you remember any interesting things that happened while you were sketching?
Nothing particularly, except like many come to me and then ask, are you a student? Are you sketching for your project or something?
I get that a lot as well.
So again, the next question will be like, oh no, you're not a student. So why are you sketching? What will you do with these sketches? So they'll be asking something like that.
Yeah. So those are the questions that I get also.
Commonly asked.
Are you an art student? Are you from NAFA?
Yeah. And after joining Urban Sketches, I feel I know more about Singapore.
Definitely.
I have sketched many places which have not been known. So usually I after the sketch walk, I go and share with my family, this place exists in Singapore, like the bunker. So like some of the places which are not accessible to public, we could go and sketch. So it's really
it's a good experience to explore. I've been to many places that I've not been to before as well, and it's all because of going to these sketchbox with the USK Singapore. So these are the tools that you bring for your sketchbox.
Yes.
Do you always bring them in a plastic box like this?
No. Initially I used to bring a lot, my paint tubes and everything. So recently I thought I should minimize the materials. So now this is my new setup.
Oh, okay. So
I carry a rag. Masking tape.
Is this a special masking tape or is this just
the ordinary masking tape?
Oh, okay. I thought there is special masking tape for watercolor, or is there no difference?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And water container. And my paint. Paint and the mixing palette is here.
Oh.
So my brush.
Two brushes.
So actually it's an acrylic brush, long handle brush. So I want to fix it here, so I cut off the edges. So I made them small. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is there a difference between gouache brushes and watercolor brushes?
Previously I was using watercolor brush, but I learned that they are meant for transparent washes. So if I want to pick up more paint, I learned I have to switch to acrylic brush.
Oh, so there is a difference.
Brush, yes.
Okay. So acrylic brushes can actually hold more paint.
More paint.
Oh, okay. So those are the M. Graham paint that you squeeze inside the.
Yeah, inside.
Why do you cover those pens?
I want to keep the paints wet, so I cover them with a lid. This palette is available. Yeah. So.
Oh, just
so they
to
can keep the
wet.
paint moist and wet, so you can just paint directly with you can get the buttery, creamy texture. It can hold the creamy texture.
If the paint has dried out, you can just add water to make it wet again, right?
Yeah, even if it is dry, then just spritz water.
Oh, okay.
So you can just re-wet
very easily. Okay. So the mixing surface, I noticed it's sloping. Is there a reason why?
I don't know, it comes with a set. Yeah.
Oh, it comes with a
Actually,
set.
I was looking for these containers with the lids. So sometimes I find the mixing area very small.
Yeah,
but
this one
still,
is
yeah,
quite
I
small.
managed to do. For my one sketch, then I can mix with this palette. If I want to do another sketch, the same location, then I have to clean it up, use it again. That's it.
Okay, because it only has 4 wells, so you have to
Yes.
clean up every time you
Yeah.
mix a new color. Oh, so what colors do we have here?
White, yellow ochre, cadmium yellow, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, cerulean blue, tallow blue, ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, Prussian blue, and this one is
Cadmium.
quinacridone red.
Oh.
Yeah, some
Quinacridone
red
red.
with a pinkish texture. And this one is for the raw umber.
Oh, okay.
These two are for the earth tones are for making getting darks in my sketch. So usually I mix them with the blues, so you get
Like the
rich
very dark
darks.
darks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what other things do you have?
To
Just
brush,
brushes.
then
Is this
for
a
scratching.
oh for scratching?
Yeah, scratching, and then for signing up.
Oh,
And this one I recently added to my list because when I do architectural sketches, I think to fix the perspective I need to draw some lines. So this one is again from Nathan Fogg's suggestion. So he used to do with this pencil, so a warm color tone. So when you do with this, the lines, you won't lose the lines faster. So that means when you draw with these lines and when you paint some transparent washes, until few layers you can still see the lines, so easier to sketch
oh, okay.
architecture.
Okay.
And in
last-
case my white runs out,
So this is the
titanium
biggest
white. Yep.
biggest tube here. Oh,
And
okay.
this one for spritzing my paint.
Making the paint well.
And on my paper also, my sketchbook also, I spritz. If I want to do like some effects or some transparent washes,
Oh.
so I spritz my paper before I start.
Oh, okay.
And in between also sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
So when it comes to painting gouache, you can wet the paper first, and when you paint on the paper, does the paint spread?
Yeah.
Oh,
it
just like
spreads.
watercolor.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Alright, so that's it for this sketchbook tour interview. If you have any questions for Sathyapriya, you can let her know in the comment section below. I will get her to answer your questions about gouache.
Sure.
So yeah, see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.